But if you're able to get vaccinated and you choose not to, discrimination is the wrong word. That's not discrimination. You have freedom to make a choice, but if you make a choice, those choices have consequences. You are not being discriminated against. You choose to do something that puts other people's lives at risk. And you will be accountable, you will be held accountable for that choice. That's what we're talking about here. People who don't get the vaccine are making a choice. You have a choice. We all have choices to make. We all get a choice. You can't force someone else to act a certain way to you because of your freedom to choose. That's not how we do things in this country. We've got freedom of speech in Australia, but we have a freedom of assembly, but you can't stop the rest of us from calling you out if you're being disruptive and rude. Having the freedom to choose isn't the same as having freedom to avoid the consequences of that choice. Some might say that if you're vaccinated because you're required to in order to keep your job, you've been forced to get vaccinated. That's not right, and that's not being truthful at all. That is not correct. If you want to work with vulnerable people, you need to do a police check. If you want to work with kids, you do have to have a working with children check. That is the way it is. And we do that to keep people safe. How about that? We put others before ourselves. I have constituents with autoimmune conditions who run businesses. If they're forced to serve unvaccinated customers, they'll have to choose between risking their lives or shutting down their businesses. You don't have the right to force them to make that choice either. We have pubs in Hobart that will have to close if a single COVID person walks into them. Those pub owners should be able to choose to protect themselves and their staff, and they should be able to say, I can't afford to have an unvaccinated person in here. They're already on their knees, using people's fear to boost their own election campaigns, and they're using fear to make money. And that's what this is about. They're not being straight with you people out there, not straight at all. It's all about cash. It's all about power. That's all this is. A grab for cash, and that's how it works. If you get it wrong, say you got it wrong and stand by that. What sort of person accepts they're wrong but just keeps saying the wrong thing anyway? What sort of person does that? Here's the thing. Being held accountable for your own actions isn't called discrimination. It's called being, you wouldn't believe it, a goddamn bloody adult. That's right as being an adult. It's putting others before yourself. And that's what this country's supposed to be about. We don't have lockdowns and border restrictions because state premiers love discrimination. That's rubbish. We have them because state premiers don't want people dying. Because they don't want to be playing Russian roulette with their own people's lives. That's why they're doing it. Everybody pays for COVID-19. Every day we have to deal with lockdown and restrictions is a day when a business goes bust, a family breaks down in despair, and a person takes their own life. The way out of lockdowns and restrictions is vaccinations because there is nothing else on the table. Let's be honest about that.